Hello, hello. What do we have here?
Hello.
Hector, no. Hecky like. I've said it before.
It's very sensual,
I've said it before,
lick.
and I'll say it again. Whoever this Skrull woman is, she can get it.
Is this sharp teeth?
She can get it.
And then,
whoa! Oh, it's Don Cheadle. You know what? Still, she can get it. Don Cheadle's a beautiful man.
But who is she?
Don Cheadle.
Pop.
Oh, that's a really good effect.
Oh,
Ooh!
no.
Ooh!
Now kiss. Sorry, wrong time
Oh
for that.
my God.
Oh, in the
He
face.
shot Gravik in the face. A guy he's known since he was a kid. Wow.
Oh, look at that panic.
Did Fury not know that he had those capabilities? Probably not.
No, that's the first time he's found out, and he's like, what am I dealing with? And that's
Pagan.
my best bud.
Pagan, gonna get us out of here. Pagan
Gone is way
girl.
gone.
Welcome back to the Break Room. Another episode and another possible, yet this time very probable, character death. And what's up with Rhodey? We are back in the, say it with me, whisper, Skrull Search. This is Inside Marvel, New Rockstars Marvel Reaction Show. I'm Hector Navarro, and joining me today is American, because she did a keg stand, Maude Garrett.
Maude Garrett, that's me. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Is that weird for everyone else?
Your accent sounds like someone who was just approved for a bank loan. That's what that sounds like.
I'm excited
Just
to
a
buy in this country.
She's a really uptight lady who just got approved for a bank loan.
So excited.
Of course, we are on The Break Room, and Eric's Easter egg breakdown of the episode is coming out later today or tomorrow on the main New Rockstars channel.
We like to keep you on your toes.
You better stay on them. And if you missed it, Tommy and producer John did a midnight reaction video to episode 4 that's out on the Break Room YouTube right now. And we know this because producer John was over there asleep on the couch.
Woo!
Did not get enough sleep.
Can we get a round of applause
Did not-
though? Because it's like we're bringing
midnight.
it late at night and first thing in the morning.
First thing I
around
know.
here.
That's a crappy straw you pulled. Somebody else should have done one of those shifts.
Which is why you should subscribe, I think, to New Rockstars.
Yes.
The Break Room, Deep Dive.
Yes.
Press the clickety-click on all of those.
Absolutely. So, should we get into plot summary of the episode? We're going to try and do a quick recap.
Yeah.
We're going to try not to banter as much, but Maude and I together in the
We
room
love a
is
good
hard.
chat-skis.
It's hard. But we're going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to get to some very meaty questions at the end of this discussion.
I'm excited for that
Maude?
one. All right, let's go. We pick up right where we left off with Gaia lying lifeless on the ground, which I do appreciate, by the way. They
Yeah.
don't stretch this out. We are like,
Yep.
all bang for our buck. But this time, we get to see what else she was up to while she was looking for the submarine deactivation code. It turns out the Gaia looked into the mind of fracking pod Rosa Dalton
Yep.
and used the super Skrullinator 5000 on herself.
That's
which
not what it's
means,
called.
Yes, it is. It's the Super Skrullinator 5000. But wait, there's more. So she's used it on herself. Obviously, she's got the brief that it's all about becoming super Skrulls. So she's gained the extremis powers, which heals her gunshot wound immediately. But who knows what else she got? Now, talk me through some of the extremis powers that
Sure.
you get from it, because we've seen it before in Iron Man 3 with my fellow other Aussie.
Yeah, Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
Breathing fire. But yeah, so she's got that power. And as far as we know, and I think we see it later in the episode, we see another example of power. But we had Groot capability.
Yep.
We had a Frost Beast. We don't know what
we
that
haven't
means.
seen that yet?
We don't know what that means.
No.
And then we had the extremis stuff. And then the fourth one was, oh my gosh. Thank you. Cull Obsidian, who was one of Thanos's Black Order, Thanos' children. That big dude with like the rocky hide.
Hell yeah.
Who got his hand chopped off by Wong. And so they were taking DNA samples from that.
God, I just wanted to reference this because you
Yes.
didn't do it, and I will do it because I
What?
Game of Thrones and Maude Garrett. Extremis, you can breathe fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gaia,
Uh-huh.
mother of dragons.
Uh-huh.
We can have she could be turning into the goddamn dragon. Full circle, people, full circle.
She shapeshift into a small human-sized dragon and then breathe fire. Yeah,
I
she
mean,
can.
that's the time to be alive.
If that's not a super scroll, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I just want that so bad now. Anyway, after the title sequence, we get another flashback scene. This time, Paris 2012, right after the Battle of New York.
Yep.
Fury meets Priscilla in a bar. This is a bit of a continuing motif that we are seeing in the show.
It's how they flirt. It's how they have a relationship from what we see.
That's how you do it?
That's how they do it. That's how, yeah. It's just like the Pina Colada song, Maude. It's just like, you know, let's pretend we're somebody else and meet in a bar. You could tell they're
Getting drunk
kinky.
in the
You could tell they're kinky about it. You know.
They've got their thing.
You know,
going.
Fury walks into a bar and he goes, my wife or girlfriend is going to be maybe any one of these women.
That's fun.
That's
They're
fun.
keeping-
That's fun.
Yeah, they're keeping it.
Keep it fresh.
Anyway, she compliments him about said battle. So obviously building the timeline. Do we need to kind of expand where the Avengers are in 2012, or do you think people kind of?
It's just early times for the Avengers. There's really no Avengers technically until the end of that first movie when Tony Stark starts sort of building out what was Stark Tower into Avengers Tower. And then 3 years later in 2015, we kind of see them at their full height with Avengers Age of Ultron, where like they're all living there. You know, he's got the Iron Legion robots that are flying in to help them as they go anywhere in the world and kind of do their missions or whatever. But it's just early stages in 2012. They're figuring out how they can come together. And I'm sure Fury is figuring out, you know, what that means and what it means for S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. So that's where we're at.
Early. And I love the fact that you just put a bit of a goatee on him and you're like, yep, it's 2012.
Yeah.
Cool. So they're chatting about that. She's kind of acknowledging that he's brought the Avengers together. She also slyly slips in, home is worth fighting for. Does it seem like she wants something out of the Avengers? Like, hey, could your new friends maybe help me out with something? Righteous, dude. Gracious. Fury then moves the conversation along to Priscilla's book of Raymond Carver poems, in which she tells him her favorite poem. It's called Late Fragment.
Back to the present, Priscilla and Rhodey, a.k.a. Skrull Rhodey, a.k.a. Scrody, meet in St. James Church. She informs Rhodey that Fury's been fired, to which Scrody proudly takes credit
I did
for.
it. That was me.
Yeah.
Got rid of his ass.
That was great.
Bye.
Priscilla is confused. If Scrody fired Fury under the direction of Gravik, then why does Gravik need her? Scrody dismisses her question. He is the one telling her to kill Fury. We see Fury eavesdropping on the conversation via some type of bug, just in time to hear Priscilla roast him.
Well, the old Fury, the one with power, the one with ability, the one who was indispensable to us. That Fury's gone. So this new one, he'll be dead from exhaustion and defeat soon enough. We don't need to kill him.
I will just drop in a
Sick
little
burn.
note here.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we kind of understand what she's doing. She's trying to spare his life.
Spare his life, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
the first few episodes really did talk about the demise of Fury's sort of like...
He's a broken man.
Yeah. But
So
then...
it makes sense.
This episode being only 36 minutes or so long,
Yeah.
we had time to really talk through this, to have this be so...
Yeah.
I think a gripe I had with this episode, it was a little too dimensional. And I'll go
Dimensional?
into
What
it
do you mean?
Just with sort of like reasoning, with character development.
Okay.
I mean, if you ask me, I think Gravik's whole plan, blow it up, that's it, boom. It's like a little, like it could have been more
Multifaceted.
gray instead
I
of
see.
like, you know what I mean
So when you
with
say
it?
two-dimensional, it's too like straightforward.
It's a little surface
simplistic.
level. And
Okay.
I feel like
okay.
if we are doing sort
Sure.
of like the spy thriller espionage
Yeah.
sort of genre,
Yeah.
this is where like those grey mottled areas really
Yeah.
come into play.
It's a good point.
And I think we could have had more of like a real struggle with what the plan is. And like, you know, tell us, what's your game plan? Oh, we just take care of them and then they'll help us.
Ask him. Yeah, right.
It's like,
right.
come on, let's get really deep with
Right.
this. We can have beautiful, deep moments. We've got powerhouse actors.
I agree.
Sorry, that's
I
just...
think that out of every Disney Plus show so far, Marvel, MCU, Disney Plus show, Secret Invasion may benefit the most or maybe be kind of damaged the most by rewatching once the whole show is done.
Yeah.
And kind of going through it a little quicker. The week to week, I think, is an interesting. We're really chewing on stuff, but I wonder how the show is going to be different if you watch one episode and then the next day part 2, the next day part 3, and you're done in 6 days. Will it make it stronger? Will it make it even a little bit thinner with what we're talking about?
Because I
don't know.
feel like the big focus here is the what.
Yeah.
When I kind of want to get a little
why.
bit more into the why.
Well said. So we go to Gravik, who is overseeing a plane being loaded with supplies. He informs Pagan that he took care of Gaia, a.k.a. the Mole. Gravik reminds his forces that their opposing is Russian, so they need to make it big and loud. Whatever they're planning on doing, it must be Russian.
We are Russians. We are killing the Americans because we are Russian. We have bomb. We have.
Is that a Russian accent?
Yeah,
Da.
I drank vodka to get
Clearly.
this, okay?
Yes, you drink vodka to get it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Elsewhere we've got Talos and Gaia. They've reunited. They're doing the classic dad-daughter hang. Hey, soz about that. That's all right. There's ducks hanging in a pond nearby. Life's good. Talos tries to apologize. Gaia deflects, though. It was her choice.
Right, that's what she said.
She's starting to be like, you know what? I'm not really on Gravik's side. I don't agree with what he's doing. But hey, remind me of your plan.
What's the plan? What's
like,
the plan?
what is going on? What am I fighting for? How are you going to find us a new home? And Talos is like, listen here, love, have I got a flawless plan that I've thought about with integrity? I've been thinking about this for decades. I've been working with Fury, and this is what it is. We take him out and then say, hey, we cleaned up some mess.
Give us a little something in return, mate.
We've got a million
that's
of us.
his plan.
Just
That's
let's
his plan.
integrate. And guys kind of like, do you want to not wear your face ever again? Like that. This is not the solution. This is not what it is.
Wait and see what happens next. Yeah, that was sounds like a pretty optimistic plan. I
Wait
think.
and see. This is not a plan.
Yeah.
This is a hope. A very thinly veiled hope based on a friendship between Fury and Talos. But anyway, she's kind of like, I'm not on board with this. Yeah. She kind of also doesn't say some very nice things. She's like, Papa Bear, you're delusional.
Yeah, she says the word delusional, which was like, oh, okay, boomer. That was rough.
Delusional.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I love you and I'm going to walk off.
Ooh, she's going to regret that. You know why? Because Talos might be dead.
And that's the last thing she's ever going to say.
Potentially.
So, yeah, she's walked off from that. Talos is like, I don't understand. The plan's flawless.
Plan's flawless. 3-step plan.
Yeah.
All right, so then back at Priscilla's, her and Fury have a tense conversation over tea. This may have been my favorite, maybe second favorite scene of the episode. Favorite's going to be Rhodey and Fury, which we'll get to in a second.
Yes.
But the Priscilla conversation was fantastic, very tense. Fury comes in hot, calling her the greatest mistake he's made in his life. Do you think Fury was telling the truth, or do you think he's kind of lying to himself and to her? He's trying to hurt her back.
No. It's just, but he's like, you're the greatest mistake because
Yeah.
I wasn't as aware. I didn't treat you the way that I should have treated you. That's how I kind of took it.
I think a lot of people...
You start off with the negative and then you go because...
A lot of people, myself included, I think took it the opposite way. However, in the conversation at the end of it, he almost has a like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind confession where he's like, but I don't know if I would change anything.
Yeah.
Meaning, even though now I feel as though you have betrayed me, I still look at our life and I'm going to say it's the biggest mistake, but damn it, I did love you. I don't know what I would... Right. I don't know if I would have... If knowing what I know now, if even I would have gone back and done anything different, which I think is somewhat a confession of I did love you at one point, or maybe I still might love you, but this is over.
But it was this thing as well where it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
That's the mistake, but I would have done it again.
Just a rough thing to say to your wife, I'll tell you what. So then the two put their guns on the table, and Priscilla tells them the story of her shell.
I had a little note when I read this. They put their cards and guns on the table.
Absolutely, right there. They're calling each other's bluff, if you will.
Yeah.
And then she tells them, I love this moment, about her human shell, Dr. Priscilla Davis, an ailing woman whose identity Priscilla took after promising her that she would continue to live out her life, fall in love, be a daughter to her parents, and never hurt Fury.
They are the three. They're the key
isn't that
three.
Great?
Bury
That's
at
so
sea.
sad.
She's like, I've done that. Continue to be a daughter. And he said, yeah, I've seen you do that.
But then never
the
hurt
last
Fury.
One,
She failed. Priscilla admits that her shell, even back then, was someone who would slip past Fury's defenses.
That
someone
begs the
who
question.
Fury would probably be attracted to, right?
It was a
This
plant.
beautiful black woman. It was a plant, yeah. She tearfully apologizes, and Fury repeats the Raymond Carver poem from the beginning back to her as they say the last line of the poem in sync. They raise their guns and fire after a tense few seconds, which I thought, honestly, I was like, he just killed Priscilla.
100%.
I totally thought that.
Yeah.
We realize that both have fired past the other. They are both alive, and Priscilla has betrayed Gravik. Before Fury leaves, she asks, would you have loved me if I never changed, if I'd been my true self? He touches her face, and just before he leaves the house, he looks at her and says, guess we'll never know.
So this is kind of going into emotional manipulation territory.
You think?
You're a mistake.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
And I love you and I didn't kill you.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could have loved you, and I won't answer that question.
Yeah. Well, I took that last moment double meaning. She said, if I had never changed, changed, meaning two things. My outer shell from a Skrull to Priscilla.
Could you love me if I was
Could you
green?
love me if I was green?
Yeah.
And I think Fury
With sharp teeth.
didn't to pick up on that, but instead took the other double meaning of, would you have loved me if I never changed? Meaning I shifted alliances to Gravik. And Fury's still mad about that. He goes, I guess we'll never know.
But
if
he'd
I
still
would
do
have
it
stayed
again.
loving you, because, so yeah.
But he didn't kill her, so yay.
Yeah, so that's something. Bare minimum, guys. The bar is on the floor. For
And while
husbands,
that-
bar is on the floor.
While that sexual tension's ramped up,
Yeah.
we cut to a shower.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. With a beautiful green lady.
Skrull is in the shower. We
Mm-hmm.
make it incredibly obvious that this Skrull is a woman.
Yeah.
And then looks in the mirror. It's Rhodey.
Love that.
So, the first question that we're thinking over here in New Rockstars is, who is this Skrull?
Right.
Well, in the credits, it's listed as Rava.
Yes.
We're going to get into this after the plot summary, though. So put a pin in it for now.
Yes.
We will address this in a memento.
Thank you.
Taking on the shell form, Rhodey is surprised by Fury in his hotel room. Fury offers an olive branch in the form of Pappy Van Winkle. Rhodey is understandably hesitant. It is morning, and that is hard liquor. And this guy has a very important job. But if Fury comes at you with a nice bottle of $5,000 top-notch, top shelf, you got to go through with it. Yeah, there it is. Fury jokes that it's got nanotech infused into it, which actually then diffuses the tension and situation.
He, she, they don't drink, but then puts it down. And then as soon as they kind of have a little conversation, then Skrody's like, you know what? You're done, dude. You're toast. Yeah, I'm going to take this. Yeah, I'm going to take this. Counter offer. Get out of my room.
He took a shot pretty fast.
Yeah.
I have yet to find someone that can take a shot faster than me, though.
Oh, are you saying you got like Skrull capabilities here?
No,
Like
I've got Aussie blood.
That's what it is. Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi! Anyway, Fury levels with Rhodey. He's like, dude, there are Skrulls inside the US government.
Just messing with him.
In fact, there is a Skrull mole very close to the president.
Yeah.
Who could it be?
Yeah.
And if Rhodey's worried it doesn't show, Fury's like, you know what? If I won't say anything, I'm going to keep this under wraps. Give my job back.
It's so funny.
Rhodey then do the impression of the takes the drink, makes the counter offer. He's like, click. Do you recognize this?
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Who was that man killing Maria Hill?
Special guest star Kobe Smulders. That's who that was.
It looks like you, buddy. She got paid again for that episode?
I know she did.
Cool. That's cool.
I know she did. She's like, what? I'm in one episode, but I'm going to keep getting paid because you keep using this death footage of me?
Great.
I'm in. Thanks.
Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, Rhodey's getting real cocky, and you can now tell that Rhodey's really not being super Rhodey. He's being full Skrull. And like sassy, sharpened nails, claws, Skrull.
And I want to point out one quick thing. Don Cheadle playing a heroic noble character is great. Don Cheadle playing kind of a sassy bastard is maybe even better. Like Don Cheadle is so funny and he's so good at this that it's really cool that Cheadle gets to do this. Even if it's just temporary, we're gonna get the regular Rhodey back at some point. Like this is awesome.
I do like seeing the fact that it's like, that Rhodey's not here to play
it's
right
me
now.
It's sassy bitch Rhodey.
It's Rava.
It's Rava bitch.
So Skrody's like, look, I'm going to keep this video under wraps. I will protect you, but you got to stay mum on all of this sort of stuff. Wordless Fury leaves the hotel room while Rhodey drinks the fire bottle of booze.
This is fire. Yeah, absolutely. Turns out Fury's joke wasn't a joke after all. It was liquid location tracker.
That's fun. Cool
spy tech, bro. You have to. He's the spy. You gotta have like James Bond stuff.
I kind of want a little bit more of this.
I know.
Actually.
I do too. I do too. But
like,
it's
where's M or who is it that does all of like this
Q.
lipstick is actually
Q.
Q. Thank you.
Yep. You've got some of those types of characters in S.H.I.E.L.D. comics. You could do some of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's
Talos and Fury watch as Rhodey gets into a car surrounded by anti-war protesters, and the duo tail him. It turns out Rhodey was coming to meet President Ritson on the tarmac. They walk to the convoy, and Rhodey gives Ritson some unsolicited advice about how to do negotiations with Russians. Somehow Ritson can tell that Rhodey had been drinking. It's on your breath, bro. Seated in separate cars, the convoy leaves the airport. Via cell phone, Rhodey gives the president's location in the convoy. Overhead, Gravik and Pagan stare gravely from a helicopter, fire successfully, sending the president's car flying. Fury and Talos head to the scene. Yeah, it was in the budget. I was like, oh, budget. Yeah. We got some budget in this episode. Fun. So Fury and Talos then head to the scene in their little Land Rover, and while an aide confirms the president is indeed alive, Gravik goes on full offensive with his forces coming by land and by air.
Gravik goes on full assault.
Gravik, yes, of course, comrade.
We are Russians.
All the while, Rhodey watches the chaos from his car, emotionless.
Oh yeah, that was like the whole thing, just waiting.
Where was War Machine suit? Why does he not have suit? I don't know. We'll get into that in end of episode.
Because Rhodey's not supposed to save this.
That's right. Yeah, he's I didn't have my suit. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm drunk. Oops.
I've been drinking. Yeah, exactly. Maybe he did it on purpose. That's
my
right.
bad. Slap on the wrist. Fury and Talos, obviously, with this locator, are able to pull up, load up, and they enter the kill zone. I kind of love Fury with the shotgun, by the way.
It's awesome. And that little rocket launch that he does, like, he's done that he did that in the first Avengers movie like 2 or 3 times. So that's like a classic Nick Fury move.
And it's like not even like tactical, like what it should be. It's just like so boom, there it is. Oh. Done. Anyway, Fury lands a shot on the helicopter. It crashes. It is beautiful. It does crash scarily close to Ritson,
President
though,
of the United
who's
States.
hanging upside down, slightly unconscious at the moment. They're running and blasting. Pagan alerts Gravik to Fury's presence. Fury's here. Fury's here. But I'm Russian, so Fury is here. We see
That's
Gravik.
more French. I just want to say.
I am doing a little bit of, okay.
I cannot believe this. Fury is here. We are Russian. No,
Houston. Sorry, my bad.
That's very French. That's very French.
Okay, anyway. This is really cool, though. We are obviously understanding last episode, we're going to be Super Skrulls.
Yep.
Now we get to see what this really looks like. We've seen Extremis with the...
Healing,
but now... Do you like that? Because my fingers are kind of long. Like, it actually looks like I'm extending, but I'm just in proportion. Gravik goes Groot.
Yep.
Kills a soldier. Bad way to go.
Not great.
A hug for you. The forces are advancing, but reinforcements do show up and acknowledge Fury. He yells out for them to go undercover, get cover, because boo, 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 and to get the president's car. Now, Talos tries to retrieve the president by breaking the car window. Remember, this is a president, so we have got reinforced windows,
that makes
bulletproof. Sense. Like, you've got top notch. They do whatever they can. The problem is when he's in the car and it's locked, it's really hard. So we need someone who's got a little bit more strength, and that's not a human. That's a Skrull, right?
Yep.
So Talos recognizes his strength in this. He's trying to break it. He's trying to break that. But then Gravik sees what's happening, orders Pagan to shoot Talos, lands a shot in the shoulder.
Heart area, sure.
Not a good zone. If it's here, it's fine. If it's there, you're dead.
If that's where Skrull hearts even are, like we
know.
said, could be in the head like a lobster. We don't know.
Fighting through the pain, though, Talos tries to hold his human form while smashing, but struggles. I actually really like this moment. It looks practical. Do you
Very
think
cool.
it's practical?
Him actually
he's
turning
half and
into no, I think it's fully CG, but it did look really good.
I thought
It did look really good.
Okay.
Because it's like moving a little, which is good
was.
for the Skrull
It
shapeshift.
was, but at
That's
one
what
stage it was kind of like locked there for a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I do love this moment where
I
it's
wonder.
like he's getting weak. He's been shot. He's losing blood. We know that they can't keep their human form when they are weak and or dying or dead, which makes me wonder the opposite. The Russians, when they're dying, are they not scrolling out when they're dead?
Oh yeah, maybe.
I was thinking
That's a
about that
good
the
point.
whole time. I was actually
That's a good
looking.
point.
I was looking. I was like, he's dead. But then some of them had balaclavas on.
Yeah, and maybe Gravik's orders are like, if you get hit and you know you're gonna die, go in a bush. And so they don't
Die
see
in a
it.
bush.
Go die in a bush. And they're like,
Thank
right,
you for
Gravik.
serving me.
Yeah.
Die in a bush. But yeah, that's happening. Talos, we're seeing his integrity. He
Yes.
really is trying to do what he can
Poor guy.
to help the humans.
But he does it.
He does it, smashes it through because he's strong. A soldier calls Talos out for being an alien, but Fury's like, no, he's one of us. He's one of us. Talos finally breaks through the window. Fury drags Ritson out with Talos going full Skrull. He's clearly in pain.
Yeah, Fury says he's going to be back for Talos. He heads to his car. The soldier who spotted Talos comes over to pick him up. The pair makes their way to Fury's car, and once the president is seated, Fury turns back to see the soldier holding Talos.
Wait a minute.
Fury tells the soldier to put him down, to which the soldier does not comply. Fury fires at the soldier who morphs. It's Gravik.
That was quick with Gravik. How did he have that soldier's...
No idea.
Can he just look and turn?
Yes, you can. Yes, Skrulls can do that. He stabs Talos and drops him. Fury screams out and fires at Gravik, whose extremis powers are on full display on his face, much to Fury's surprise. Pagan pulls up in a motorcycle.
Terminator. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Very Terminator.
But I really do want to
Two-Face,
talk about the...
right?
Yeah.
The sort of Aaron Eckhart Two-Face,
Yep.
the Terminator healing liquid metal thing.
I love it. Like, I think that's such a villainous move where it's like half your face is gone and then you just like...
Super cool. Super spooky, scary.
Especially since he's just... Anyway.
Pagan, Gravik's right-hand man, pulls up in a motorcycle, and he and Gravik speed off. Fury looks at the president, looks at Talos, looks at the president, looks at Talos, gets in the car and speeds off, leaving his best friend behind as the fight rages on. And that's the episode, and we're left believing that Talos is dead. Mendo.
The problem with this so far is that, yes, Maria Hill really died.
Yes.
Guy didn't really die.
Correct.
And now is Talos going to die?
Could go either way, I guess, is what you just established. Could go
And
either way.
We don't think Talos has got the super Skrull powers at all, because
Yeah.
would he
Didn't have the access to the Skrullinator 5000, what'd you call it?
The Skrullinator 5000.
Whatever that was. Before we get into some questions, can I do a super brief comic book recommendation? This is a recap. I've suggested the Captain Marvel Secret Invasion miniseries to get into the mind of what it's like for a Skrull to take over a heroic character.
Love it.
Then I said, of course, the main Secret Invasion miniseries. This thing is that big, bombastic action movie. You get to really see the Skrulls' endgame. Here's a new recommendation.
Yes.
Especially because Pagan is in this episode a little bit, maybe a little featured a little bit more, right? In the comic books, Pagan was the Skrull who took over the body of Elektra, the assassin, who then she became the head of the Hand Ninja Clan, and then she was the first Skrull to die in the Marvel Comics universe that freaked everybody out because they're like, wait, Elektra's a Skrull? Kicked everything off. Pagan is a very interesting kind of character. This is the comic I want to recommend. This is the complete collection of The Mighty Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis, the complete collection. You've got all the Secret Invasion tie-in stuff in here, and there's the amazing, amazing, amazing tie-in issues where, like I just mentioned, you get to see the Skrulls taking over certain characters, Elektra. You get to see the Skrull who takes over Hank Pym, the Michael Douglas Hank Pym, and that's a fantastic issue. But I especially love, you get to see Nick Fury himself figuring out that there's a Skrull invasion. It's very secretive, and him trying to like put his forces together. So this is, I think, the kind of stuff that this show has really pulled some of that tone from. And then my last recap, The New Avengers, the complete collection, Volume 4 by Brian Michael Bendis. Again, these are the ones where you get to see the tie-in, the side stories of like, who was this Skrull queen, Varanke, who took over a character, a very prominent character in the Marvel Comics universe, Spider-Woman. And we can talk a little bit about that in these upcoming questions. But so far, these are my 4 recommendations, one for each week. I'm going to have another one next week and another one the week after that. So go read comics. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, lovely.
So we get into some questions.
Let's get the big questions happening. The big one I really want to talk about is the fact that Skrody, which is what we are affectionately calling him, thank you, Eric, aka Rava. Now, is this the real big bad here? Because I don't know enough about sort of the comic book version of the Skrull and the invasion.
And at the end of the day, the comic book stuff doesn't matter because this is an adaptation and it's going to be like a new... I'm just saying, like, the comic is not...
But Rava's in the
end all
comics.
be all. Absolutely.
And I want to talk about that real quick.
Absolutely.
Who is Rava in the comics, and do you think that this is the Rava that we've got in the show?
I don't think so, but it's very interesting that they pulled this name. There's tons of different Skrull characters, and they all have kind of Skrully sounding names, which are really fun, those sort of sci-fi alien names. But this is a comic. The Rava character was introduced in a comic that I just read for the first time when I visited Australia on my little vacation a month or so ago. Went to a comic book store, and I've been meaning to read this comic, but it is in the Black Bolt series that came out. I think the writer was Saladin Ahmed. I may be wrong on that, or maybe the pronunciation is incorrect, but it's a Black Bolt miniseries, and you know the character Black Bolt, the leader of the Inhumans. He was played by Anson Mount in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and he had his head blown up by Scarlet Witch. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because he has such a powerful voice. This character wakes up in a space prison. He doesn't know how he got there. Now, he's the king of the Inhumans. He doesn't know who put him there, and he doesn't know how to get out. And the whole comic book is this really great exploration of the prison industrial complex of the United States. So it's very metaphorical, but it made me look at some of these characters very, very differently, including some villainous previous Marvel characters that the story added humanity to them. But through his struggle of trying to escape from this prison, there's a Skrull warrior there, this really powerful warrior woman named Rava.
Right.
And I think her backstory was that she had her child taken away from her, and then she was this like Skrull warrior, and she was maybe ousted from the Empire and then put into this space prison on the fringes of space. But she is this entire badass character.
She's a pirate.
And a pirate.
Yeah.
And Rava ends up kind of becoming part of this crew that Black Bolt and other characters, and you root for them. So these protagonist characters, good guy characters. So it's very interesting that they pull that name. Makes me think, are they planning to have, picture this, the woman Skrull who is Skrody to maybe be redeemed, if not by the end of this series, maybe in a future Marvel thing? Like, are they planning that far in advance? I don't know. Or
maybe they're trying to do smoke and mirrors for the comic book readers, and
Sure.
they're using Ravka as a name, but it's really more going to be the other side. This isn't a redemption arc where Rava becomes good, but instead this is the big bad.
Yep.
And it more emulates the Skrull Queen.
That's another good point.
Let's talk about Varanke, who is the Skrull Queen
Varanke.
and is not nice.
A hugely important, maybe the most important Skrull character in that original Secret Invasion storyline. This was a woman who was a religious fanatic who was ousted from her own Skrull people because of this belief in this religion. And after the Skrull homeworld, Skrullos, exploded, then the remaining Skrulls came back to her and they were like, you were right. My queen, you were right. Like, because the vision became true. The prophecy that she was kind of buying into became true. So she was the person who enacted the Skrull plan to invade Earth.
Got it.
They wanted to get Earth. And she was the one who specifically chose to replace the character Spider-Woman.
Right.
A key character in Marvel Comics because Spider-Woman is a superhero. Mm-hmm. Spider-Woman was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent working for Nick Fury. Spider-Woman was also a double agent working for Hydra because her parents were Hydra scientists that experimented on her, and that's how she got her powers.
Got it.
So she had like some loyalty to Hydra, but not really.
Yep.
And then in the sort of bringing the character back to the forefront in the comics of the early 2000s, they put her on the Avengers. Normally, she wasn't an Avengers level character. They put her on the Avengers. So she has all of these, like, all this access.
Yeah,
so then years into the storyline, the reveal of, oh, that's not only a Skrull, she's the Skrull Queen, was a huge deal.
Got it.
So she's a fascinating character.
So the similarities and the tie here is that you've got a high-level Skrull infiltrating someone who is in a high-level position.
And an Avenger.
Who can do, an Avenger who can do the most sort of damage there.
Absolutely.
Which makes it very weird that they are the right-hand man to Gravik if it is a Skrull Queen.
So, yeah, it's interesting. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they're going to reveal that there's a Skrull Queen in this show? That Gravik was maybe working for the Queen the whole time? Or are they going to,
is Gravik the positioned leader while
Right.
Rhodey's running things actually, and Gravik's more of like the military lead, but Rhodey or Scrody is the brains behind the operation. We don't know yet, but we've only got 2 more episodes to figure it out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Alrighty. So we're going to get back into Inside Marvel, but first though, we do want to take a little moment to thank our sponsors that help bring Inside Marvel to you.
Oh, Nerd Riot time. We're in the height of Secret Invasion season, right, Hank? Good boy, Hank. And the easiest way to let people know that you're not a Skrull, or make them think you're not a Skrull, is to pick up some merch from Nerd Riot's new Secret Invasion collection. Check this out. We've been talking about Scrody. Why not get a Scrody shirt? Look at that. Woo! Boom. The invasion is here. The War Machine Skrull shirt. This is a prophetic shirt. You're going to want to get it. On top of that, you've also got a bunch of cool stuff like, this is one of my favorites, makes me emotional. Indy, I love you. Indy, I love you, right there. The little short round hat and the Indiana Jones hat, which is awesome.
We
and
got
Maude?
little.
Yes.
I still can't do it. Don't
What?
wink. I still can't wink.
Oh,
And the whole shirt's about.
winking. Well, it's
Yeah.
actually about a nuclear explosion in the eyes of Barbie. So it's a Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Combo shirt.
Watch
It's
both.
fantastic. It's fantastic. Watch both.
Why?
That's gonna be a good double feature. And you've seen Barbie. You enjoyed Barbie?
I've seen Barbie.
Can you say anything? You can say that you enjoyed it.
I can do a verbal
Like a
review
verbal?
on it
Okay,
for
great.
sure. It's
Okay, great.
visually stunning.
I can't
It's
wait.
for the guys and gals, the gays and gals.
The gays and gals?
for
Oh,
the
I
gays
can't
and
wait.
gals.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Me being neither of that group. Cannot wait. That's going to be great. Shopping at Nerd Riot is one of the best ways to support our channel. So join the riot over at Nerd Riot. We really got to rewrite that. That's still weird. So just go to nerdriot.shop and check out what they've got.
Nerds can riot
And then it's okay.
verbally about opinions on.
Even then, don't do that. I don't even like that. I don't even like that. I don't even like that. I don't want to encourage nerds to do any kind of a verbal riot. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Be cool. Be chill. Just go to nerdriot.shop. Simple,
Love
dimple.
it. Hey, also our friends at Hovsco make the best e-bikes.
Let's go.
A Hovsco e-bike can go up to 28 miles per hour, which is really cool. If you want to know what a Hovsco bike looks like, I am blocking it somewhat.
There we go.
But it is behind us here. Look at that lightning blue is what I'll call it.
Beautiful.
Look, it's got pedal assist with a range of up to 60 miles without ever needing to exert yourself. We are doing a special promotion with Hovsco that will let one lucky viewer win a Hovsco e-bike for free. All you got to do is support our Breakroom channel.
Easy. Just click the link in the description below to get started. Sign up for Hovsco's giveaway. Then subscribe to the Breakroom on YouTube or Twitch. And if you're already subscribed, that's okay. This still applies. Just make sure you follow the link to the YouTube and Twitch pages. The link in the description below has all the details you need on how to maximize your chance of winning a Hovsco e-bike. Do it before July 23rd so that you don't miss out.
Nice. Bam. Hey, I've got a next question that I really want to break down. This whole Secret Invasion, the crux of the show is the fact that Fury and Talos have decades-long allegiance, helping each other.
Best friendship.
Best buds.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting that the whole trajectory is Talos finding a planet for his people and integrating with Earth. And that's obviously, Fury's trying to make that happen. With Talos's death, how is that going to affect Fury and this entire overarching mission here?
I cannot believe that Nick Fury left Talos behind. That's kind of wild.
There were rockets.
I know there were rockets, and also the president of the United States. The president of the United States is what he needed to. It's just
the president is the mission.
It's so funny how a character like Nick Fury can still fall back on that. It's like your best friend of decades, or a guy who this is his job for a few years.
There's a vice president,
right? I'm like, there's a line of succession for a reason. Fury, let that mother burn. Is all I'm saying. Save your best friend. But it's so sad. And the other part of this too is. Do we think Talos is even really dead?
Well, he doesn't really have the super Skrull effects.
Right.
We've noticed that.
Right.
I mean, they're super strong.
Yeah.
Do they heal a little bit faster? He got shot and then stabbed.
Yeah.
Has Gravik ever missed?
No, man, he don't miss. I mean, maybe he does, but it's in. The knife is in. It's in the bone.
Shoulder or heart?
It's in the bone. It's gonna get in there, but it's just. So interesting to think about what the next 2 episodes are going to be. If Talos does in fact pass away, what does that mean for Nick Fury? What does it mean for Gaia? Those are the 2 characters that you're like, what are they going to do?
What are we going to do? Because Gaia didn't even support Talos's vision for how they could integrate and get sort of amnesty for 1 million Skrulls that are already on the planet.
Do you think that will this make Gaia feel like her father was right, or prove that she was in fact wrong? What do you think?
I mean, we've got 2 episodes to really round everything out.
Yeah.
I think something that we're going to see is the infiltration of the base camp, where we're going to release all of the prisoners in the fracking pods.
Okay.
I think that's a huge thing that we're going to have to undergo.
Interesting. You know what? Can I just say, I think that's very interesting because what you just described, releasing the human captives that are in fracking pods. My comic book brain is like, no, that's a thing that doesn't happen until the very, very end. Because that's how it went down in the story. The big event happened. The Skrull Queen got shot in the head.
Penultimate episode.
And then you think it's going to happen in the penultimate episode. So then the last episode is going to be what? Like the Skrulls scrambling? Like Gravik and his forces scrambling?
When
like,
you think about it,
we don't have the humans anymore.
They need those humans to be able to kind of infiltrate not only their body, but their mind.
True.
So if you release them, they don't have access to that side anymore. But then that goes against Talos's vision, where it's like, we will integrate, therefore we actually have to take on human bodies. So it's like, can you provide us amnesty for 1 million people, but then also provide us 1 million humans to take over their life?
Oh, you think that's what it... You know what I was thinking too? I mean, we talked about this before, how like there is an entire planet where Thanos was killed and Carol Danvers was there.
What you're talking about is a massive oversight for the writers. That was a perfect solution. But because it hasn't been brought up and it's just Earth that they're focusing on.
Right. I'm like, but also, secondly, I know people on the internet have brought this up. If Nick Fury thinks like humans aren't going to be, they're going to be prejudiced. There's no way they're going to accept you, a colony of Skrull survivors, refugees. What's New Asgard? New Asgard is literally a colony of Asgardian. Now, maybe it's because they're like, mostly human looking, they're human passing, I guess. But even then, they're still super powered and they're left to their own sort of town. And there is a bunch of alien children scattered in that, as we saw in Thor Love and Thunder as well. So I'm why wouldn't Nick Fury look at the success of New Asgard, see that the Skrulls have been also helping to defend the Earth, go to the Earth's governments and go, can we give them a town? Can we let Skrullos be a town somewhere where they can walk around in their own skin? But if they want to be human, they can also be human but like just walk around in their own skin and everybody knows, and maybe there's even a little tour group. If you see here on your right, you see Skrulls and then they're like waving in their green skin. I'm like, why?
Do you know, I love this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to yes and it.
Yeah.
Do you know who can make an entire town?
Who?
Wanda.
Are you telling me we don't have the infrastructure? Wanda can just magic it.
Beep,
or, yeah, it seems like, okay, well, what about if we took the Skrulls? Oh, we don't have any space, mate. There's no space for us on Earth. Shrink them down with Pintech. You could fit all the Skrulls right here on this table.
That was actually a movie that Matt Damon was in.
That's right, Shrinking.
Downsize.
Matt Damon is a new Asgardian because he's an actor in the plays that they put on in New Asgard. So Matt Damon would know about downsizing.
Full circle.
Do that.
We are still missing the crucial piece here, which is if Skrulls are going to integrate on Earth, they will need 1 million humans. I mean, Priscilla was in there playing long game and she's having a full conversation.
Sure.
Would you mind?
But that's only if
I used your body.
That's only if the Skrulls are trying to be hidden. If the Skrulls are like allowed to live on Earth and they're allowed to be themselves in a town, what was the point?
Do you not want to use your face?
Right, exactly.
Again?
And I feel like Talos kind of didn't, like he kind of was like, of course I do. But it's like, but Talos, I don't think got to describe his sort of full vision, which is like, well, I want to live here and be able to walk around as a person, but also as, because he said we have to face the reality. That's what he said. But I'm like, but the reality is you can be in your own skin and it's kind of crappy, like be in your own skin at home. And then if you go to the store on the corner to get like an orange or something, and okay, I'll be a human. And you don't necessarily need a human's memories to do that.
True.
You're just a shell.
Yep.
But I think that Talos is so used to that. But I think that Gaia, being a young person, the next generation, is more like, no, why do we have to put up with that?
Conform.
Why do we have to conform? We shouldn't have to conform, which I think is great. It's very, like, reminds me of like Mystique in the old X-Men movies.
Yes.
Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah.
You know, like when Nightcrawler's like, so is it true that you can walk around and mimic people, even their voice? And she goes, even their voice? And he's like, why don't you do that all the time? And she goes, because we shouldn't have to.
Yeah. Beautiful moment. And you know what? We kind of saw it a little bit where how the humans are going to respond.
Right, a little bit.
To Skrullos.
With that soldier.
I wish we had it a little bit more.
Me too.
Because this is the taste where it's like you want to know what integration really looks like. Mm-hmm. And immediately they're like, ah! It's an alien!
But then Fury had to be like,
he's not going to be there every single time for every single
It had to take
million.
Samuel L. Jackson to yell at a person.
He's on our side.
Stand down, like it had to take that for a guy to be like, okay, yeah, all right. You're right. It's not going to happen everywhere.
But I think we've really kind of come to the same conclusion where we have some of the what, we don't really have the why, and we don't really, on either side, we don't really know what Gravik's argument is except blow it all up and blame it on the Russians. And that was terrible, Gravik. I'm embarrassed about that, actually. We need to blow up everything and blame it on the Russians. That's better. I feel better about that.
Good.
Thanks for giving me a second chance.
He's in Barbie, that actor.
He is, and he's great in Barbie. And it took me so long to put that together because he's so different. 180.
I love that.
And that is a sign of a good actor.
I've seen people take his image in the Barbie ad that he's in, and it's like, this Ken is a Skrull. Like that. Which is really great.
Yeah, honestly, like two different people. Really well done.
Yeah, okay.
And Ryan Gosling goes so ham in that movie.
But I think you're right. I think, Maude, for me, thinking about the next two episodes, I feel as though the next episode, further explanation of the why on all sides of the conflict. And then the final episode, the sixth episode, might be a little bit more of an action spectacle and then kind of a resolution, whether it's, okay, the Skrulls are now able to live here peacefully, or no, they're not. It's still all very secretive, and we'll pick up with them again later in another Marvel project.
Prediction? Yeah. We've got Gaia, who's now the connective tissue between both sides. She's not agreeing with Talos' vision, but she's not agreeing with how Gravik's doing things. So she needs to provide us the whys, the clarification, the hows, the wheres.
So this next question I want to get into because I feel like I may have a differing opinion than yourself.
Yeah,
Maude,
we do. We're going to get into it.
What's the question?
How long game was this plan for Priscilla to use Fury? She admits that she was playing the long game here. She took over the body a while back.
True, but I don't know if it's the long game, meaning this was all just to like use you, or if she's saying the long game meaning I wanted you to fall in love with me. Those are two different long games.
Very different.
Like, is it a long game to learn about somebody, learn what their interests are, start doing their interests, and then kind of like, trying to fabricate a meet cute. Oh, look at this. That's a long game. For the romantic side of I want to be closer to this person. I want them to love me. But then there's also the spy long game. Got it. So what are we talking about? I don't think she was in it for the spy long game. I think she really fell in love with Nick Fury.
I'm going to just debunk that fast. This is not a rom-com. This is not a rom-com movie. This is literally the spy thriller genre of the Marvel shows.
Dang.
So this is long game spy.
What is the rom-com of the Marvel Universe? Like Ant-Man and the Wasp? What's the rom-com?
We haven't really had it yet. I'd like to.
That ended sad.
That's woohoo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a little bit more. I mean,
My
you're
big
right.
fat Skrull wedding. Let's get a rom-com. Let's get one in there.
Can we pitch that actually in the comments? Pitch us your best Marvel. I mean, because we are exploring genres. We've got Doctor Strange going a little bit more horror.
We need a When Hulk Met Sally. You know what I mean? That's what we need. We got to get that in there.
I mean, he tried to have.
He did. Where's Nat? Clint, where's Nat?
And that was the extent of it.
Okay, but then they're probably gonna bring back Liv Tyler. Betty Ross. They're probably gonna bring her back. I think it's confirmed that she's coming back for Captain America, New World Order, or what's it now called? New Freedom, World Freedom. What's it?
Brave New World.
Brave New World.
Brave
Thank
New
you,
World.
thank you. Because
I will say though, as far as rom-coms go, if a girl's saying to you, "It's getting late, big guy," then you're not gonna get any.
it means go home, big guy. It's getting late, big guy. I gotta go home.
I do think that
got
the
work
most
morning.
we've had, you've got Thor and Jane.
Yeah, yes, which the fourth one was a return to rom-com form with their flashbacks where they're like roller skating and stuff. Very cute, very
Love
cute.
montage.
Okay.
Or it's Vision and
Vision
Wanda.
A little rom
'cause
with the
she-
show, but then it got sad. It started as like
real dark.
rom-com, sitcom rom-com, and then it was like Vision, you're not real. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it
That's
was all
so
about
sad.
grief.
Is Loki a rom-com with Loki and Sylvie? Just Loki falling in love with himself?
Yeah, Loki's love story with
With
himself.
himself. Pretty great.
To quote Haley Steinfeld, who's also in the Marvel things,
Yeah.
I love myself and I don't need anyone else.
That's what Haley said. That's such a bummer that young people have to say that to just get the tabloids off of their ass of like, who are you dating? Just let people live, man. Let
So if
people
I
live.
become famous, people will think I'm dating other people. So
Yeah.
that, okay,
Yep,
become super famous, we'll get dates. Okay.
Yep.
So that's 3. I'm set. Also, when we do see Priscilla as Vara, she was introduced, this is way back in the day.
Yeah.
Like way back when.
I
She was
know.
introducing Gravik to Fury. Kid Gravik. She was introducing them to Fury. So when did she take Gravik's side? Was she always championing this protege kid?
No.
Or was she like, my husband is not husbanding right now, so I'm going to side with someone who's going to provide me a real life here on Earth?
I think so, and I think I think that may have happened. Here's what I think. I think that Priscilla was, let's say, loyal to Fury, and then he died in the year 2018 when he was dusted.
Yeah.
And like she said, she mourned for 5 years, like she had to move on in some way. I don't think she necessarily sided with Gravik in that time, but she may have Gravik may have been there.
Let's look at that 4 years.
Yeah,
We've got
5
Talos.
years. Yeah, 5 years.
Let's look at the 5 years. We've
Yeah.
got Talos who was like, well, Fury's gone. I need to take action. I'm bringing 1,000,000 Skrulls to Earth.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you've got
yeah.
Gravik who's going, all right, I'm following Talos. I'm seeing what's happening.
We're waiting.
Gosh, this guy's all talk, no
Where's
action.
the planet? Why not
What's
the Thanos
happening?
planet? Where's the planet?
It's time to pretend to be Russian.
He has to sit here and look at New Asgard popping up in Norway? Like, that's some BS. I
We
get
just
it.
want some contingency on
Yep.
a global scale.
So I think that the Priscilla betrayal happened after Fury came back to life, because she kind of talked about this. And then not long after that, I think Fury did attend the funeral of Tony Stark, the real Nick Fury. Then he peaced out and went up to space. Because we know that it was like 8 months or so after Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man is on his school vacation. Spider-Man teams up with Nick Fury. That's not Nick Fury, that's
That's not Nick
Talos.
Fury.
So in that time, I think when him leaving, was Priscilla going, what the hell, dude? You just came back to life and now you're going to bail? Like, just because you felt like you failed so much, you're a broken man, whatever. You know what? Maybe this kid Gravik had it right all along, Nicholas.
What if Gravik was the one who assigned... Oh, wait, how old is he? We don't know. What if Gravik was the one who assigned Priscilla to take over that human body specifically? Because she was a plant.
That's too much.
Long game.
I still
Do
think...
you not understand what long game is?
Yes, but I still think Vera took that form of the Priscilla woman because
are not
she was
human
like,
years.
well, I want Fury to love me. That's what I think it was.
30 years to them
Yeah.
is like 4 years,
4 years?
you
It's
know?
like a dog years situation?
a little bit. Skrulls are like dogs.
Mendo said, I'm not
Even
even 40, mate. That's what he said.
But also, Talos doesn't... Mendo
Talos.
doesn't even know what the relationship between dog and man is.
Right, Talos, your human shell looks a little older than 40, my guy. Just a little bit. All right.
What'd you rate the episode?
Ooh, out of what? 1 to 5?
Yeah.
I think I'd give it a 3.
What kind of
Honestly,
reviews?
maybe a 4. This might be my favorite episode of the series so far.
Not mine.
Not yours, but I'll tell you why. I loved the cheeky Don Cheadle, and I loved the cheeky Sam Jackson with the Don Cheadle scene.
To be
Did
fair,
love
we've
that.
had that
Did love
every
that.
episode,
We've
though.
had some great cheekiness and
They
a
are
great
the moments
scene.
to shine. This
Yeah.
being episode 4 is
Yeah.
when we really needed to drive the why a little bit
Okay,
more
fair,
than
fair,
Gravik
fair, fair.
saying, let's just blow something else up. Last week it was the submarine. This week it's the
The
convoy.
president convoy, yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just become, like, for a massive
We
villain.
we might get a Gravik,
I wanna
full-on
get in
Gravik
his skin.
flashback. Yeah, I think we might get a Gravik flashback next episode.
Okay, that would be
I
nice.
think we might
I
get
think
that.
it's
So,
needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this episode of Inside Marvel. Reminder to subscribe to all 3 of the new Rockstars channels. New Rockstars, The Deep Dive, and of course, The Break Room. Follow me over at Heroes Reforged. Follow Maude at
Maude's Book Club and Maude Garrett.
On socials. And be sure to subscribe to Inside Marvel wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
We did it under an hour. Bye.